3 different book bags.
It did not look like this when I was here last weekend. Yeah. By the way, we've deja vu. We've done this show before.
We have done this show before, and I was in the middle of. So I feel like it's an everlasting thing of me getting my office together. So when I first moved into the room, I got my
can't
desk.
Throw shade. Mine's the same way.
Yeah, I did my desk and I got my closet together. And then there was just boxes on the other side of the room. And so like last weekend, or the weekend before that, I hit it hard and I actually got I realized all the boxes were on the other side of the room, which when I went to unpack a box, there'd be stuff I needed to put on my vanity, but there was 5 boxes deep in front of my vanity, so I couldn't get to it to put anything away. So I moved all the boxes over to the one side of the room, and then I got my vanity together, got it all organized, got the desk. I took everything off the desk and redid it. And so I was in the process of rehooking everything up, and I didn't realize last week when we went to record that I had the mixer and everything all hooked up, but... Oh, I have a cork. Yeah, no, we're good. But I forgot to plug the mixer into the computer. So the entire thing got recorded off of the microphone on my webcam. Welcome to Drunk Bitches Be Like. I'm Brandi.
I'm Mindy.
And this is all about 2 women, a few beers, some tipsy stories, and some drunk ideas.
Welcome. So for those of you that can hear Brandi struggling, it's because I tried to open my wine bottle that I had already opened and shoved the cork back in so I could travel here. I do not recommend traveling that way because it's still an open container.
I've never had the reserve.
But then I just broke the cork off in the neck of it. Have you ever had to use a screw and a screwdriver and a pair of pliers to get your cork out?
Yeah, I actually, so
thank you.
Around the little wine shop that I work at, I'm like the handy person. They call me Handy Brandi.
I'm glad it's because you're like a handy woman and not
not handsy. Handy.
Just the hand jobs. Sorry, it's a joke. Who makes just the same person who makes the sandwiches give the hand jobs? Yes, can you tell her to go wash her hands and make me a sandwich?
So whenever anything needs fixed, I know where all the tools are and all the stuff. I walked in one day and there was a wrench sitting on the counter at the bar. And I immediately picked it up and I looked around and I was like, okay, who had this out and why were you using it?
Who tried to do shit?
Who was doing something? What is happening? And then it got explained to me that a cork got stuck and something happened and they were trying to use that they broke a wine key off in the cork, and so they couldn't use another wine key to get the cork out. So they needed a wrench to pull the top of the.
What is a wine key?
A wine key is one of those.
That tea thing?
It's it's one of the little wine bottle openers that looks like a little It's just it's not a pencil, but it's the little thing that unfolds.
Oh yeah, that's what I have. So it's got the little lever thing on there.
Yeah. So it doesn't have the wings or anything.
You stretch it. You fold it out into a T and then screw it in and fold the little end in and then pry it. Yeah, that's what I was trying to do with my thumbs with this.
Yeah. So that's called a wine key. So they got it stuck and needed to use the
pliers.
The pliers. It was pliers. Yeah, not a wrench. It was pliers. But they were using the pliers to get it out.
So I cut you off. So there are bags everywhere.
Yeah. So I moved everything to one side, got everything organized, and then no, they're not empty, but they are bad.
Oh, okay.
Because I opened one, drank 2 glasses, and then forgot about it. And then the other one I drank at the wine shop and had a glass, and then that one's been open since Monday. Yeah, it's bad. Vinegar. I'm not drinking vinegar wine. I mean, it wasn't that great to begin with because it was the 4th bottle. So,
oh my goodness, wine burps.
Yeah. So I have 2 bottles of just screw cap wine sitting there that I need to dump out.
Nice. This has been sitting on my sitting incorrectly on my. I'm surprised it even opened because when I went to pull the cork out, I was like, "This is dicey" because it was pretty dry when I pulled that cork out.
How old is it?
I got it sometime in September or October.
No, but when did you open it?
Oh, today.
Oh, yeah. No, then it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, good.
I figured storing it standing up probably wasn't the best thing to.
No, I mean, it doesn't really matter.
Okay.
I mean, I think technically you're supposed to store them sideways, but I mean, it's.
Yeah.
mean, I feel like that's if you're doing
I
it
got
for
news
years.
for you. Even if I got cork in it, I'm just putting it in a strainer and drinking it anyway.
Oh, no. I've gotten it before where I haven't been able to do that and I didn't have a wine thing. I just push the cork down in and let it pop in there.
I figure like if you're going to drink it and it's your own wine, who cares if you cork it?
Yeah, it's fine. Whatever. Yeah, doesn't matter.
I don't give a shit.
Nope.
Oh my God. I'm tired. I don't know why I'm tired. I just started my 8-month vacation.
I know. So yesterday was your last day of work.
Yeah. So now we can say what I did. I was a technical product manager at a company not to be named, but I was a technical product manager for an electronic health record. So if any of you are in healthcare IT, I might need a job in a few months. I want to stay in healthcare IT, but
well, like, you know, give it a month or so you get a little time off.
A very darling friend that I worked with sent me a job notice yesterday, and it was for a product marketing manager. And it was like, not the same thing.
Nope, not the same thing. No,
not the same thing. I was like, I wanted to write back and be like, I'm pretty sure they want you to have a marketing degree to be the manager of the marketing team.
I mean, I work in marketing. I don't have a marketing degree, but also I don't actually do marketing. So,
right.
I'm on the team. I'm just not.
You're a digital marketer.
Yeah, I do that thing.
So no, it's all said and done with. I want to go back into the same job. I'm going to take some certifications. My husband's like, so on Monday, you're going to like look into those, right? I was like, those cost money.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm going to do that. Plus have a really clean house.
There you go.
That's the plan.
Yeah.
Paint my living room, finish painting the fireplace. I started painting 7 years ago.
I tell you what, if I had like a solid like 2 weeks without having to work,
you would not get as much done as you think you would get.
No, I would not. I would spend a good 2 days probably laying on the couch binge watching TV shows that I haven't gotten to watch because I've been
get back into World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
You'd be like Penny with Cheetos in your hair.
I'm on Harry Potter Legacy now, so
okay.
Yeah. There'd be a lot of that playing. I'm actually surprised. I am very impressed with myself that today, all day, I was supposed to work and I didn't have to. And instead of playing video games, I actually did like, it doesn't look like I did a lot because a lot of the stuff I did is like organization underneath the desk and cable management and all that crap. But like, got a lot of that done.
You did get a lot done.
I got Facebook events done and all that kind of stuff. So like I did all the work things that I needed to get done and I didn't play video games. So, you know, I feel like I'm pretty proud of myself for that.
I would be proud of you too, because I have my new obsession outside of looking in this giant bag to find my e-cig. My new obsession is this competitive solitaire mahjong solitaire. So you play against somebody else. There's different levels, but like you each get the same board and then you've got like 7 minutes to finish it. And whoever finishes it first
that's
the
fun.
Points and stuff.
So you're not playing actually with them. You're just like competing clockwise.
No, legit. I tried to figure out how to play mahjong. But every game that you can find on Android is in Chinese.
Oh,
and it's harder to follow along, especially when people are just they fucking play mahjong so fast.
Yeah.
I've become better though, because now I know what the goddamn a traditional mahjong set. Now I know what they are. They're numbers.
Oh,
I think they're numbers.
interesting.
So anyway, I don't know. I feel so bad. As in my head, I'm like, there are certain ones that have characters on them. And I'm like, T, basketball, flag.
Nice.
And you upside down. So in my head, that's what's happening while I'm matching them. And I'm like, shit, I know that's not what this is called. Yeah. So there are symbols and then some of them are numbers, like the hash ones and the little circles are numbers. But anyway, so I didn't quit my job. I feel bad. Because I told my husband, I was like, I've never been fired. And he goes, you weren't fired. They eliminated your position. I was like, same thing. I feel like, they were like, oh, we don't need you so much.
Yeah.
Which is true. You don't need a technical product manager when you stop developing a product.
I mean, that's fair. That is a fair point.
The bad thing is that I'm saying goodbye to everybody. And they're like, when I told everybody March 3rd is my last day, I found out 6 weeks ago that it was going to be my last day.
Yeah.
Longest 6 weeks of my life. Like there's nothing to do. You just sit around and wait for somebody to ask you a question. Well, I've been with the product for 14 years. I was with it before it was an EHR. And so they like, who are we going to ask questions to? I was like, you're more than welcome to like call me. I was actually text me first because I'm not answering the phone.
Yeah.
If I don't know the number, but I deleted my Outlook yesterday. I deleted my company portal from my phone.
Oh,
my phone is empty.
I was going to say it deletes everything. So I screwed
Oh no,
up.
I have to delete it. It's once you have the company portal closed, you can't access any of the Microsoft stuff anymore, except for Teams.
Yeah.
That Teams won't sign. I'll have to get like my own.
So I didn't even think about transferring things and stuff like that, because like when you have like your Android phone or your iPhone or whatever, you can put multiple accounts in your phone, right?
Mhm.
So like my old job, I was there for 11 years, and like I had my email address and everything, my account set up on my phone. So when I left that job, I deleted the account. Didn't think twice about it, except for the fact that there were a ton of like phone contacts and stuff of people that I had put in there that like I worked with that I didn't even think about, but they were filed under that account. So when I deleted the account, it deleted their contact information out of my phone.
Oh, hey, that's why you should always like when your contact list says, do you want us to, it's Google or maybe it's just like Samsung is like, do you want us to merge all of the contacts we can find in all of your products? You say yes.
Yes, absolutely. Do that, because
even though when you
otherwise-
go to search for like Jennifer, you're like, who the fuck? Oh,
yeah.
Worse, when you tell Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok that yes, they can use your contacts, you're like, what? No, I don't want to see Martha Smith's TikTok.
Yeah.
Damn. I worked with her at an office 6 years ago, or she was at a doctor's office 6 years ago that I was working with on an account. I'm like, maybe I should delete Martha.
Don't really. Yeah. That's the thing. You get everything, not just some of it. But at the same time, like when I deleted that, like people got deleted and I was like, oh fuck, I would have liked to still have their phone number. Just in case.
Right before I turned my laptop in, I filed my last timesheet. I filed a complaint to the payroll department because I was like, you guys shorted which one's bigger, gross or net?
Gross, I think.
Yeah, gross. So they shorted my gross by $350.
What?
In the scheme of things, grand scheme of things, it only nets me like $11 more.
But still, like
it's the principle.
Right. It's the principle.
Like, is this how my severance is going to go? I'm not
Right.
allowed to talk about the details of my severance, but needless to say, it won't. Oh, I haven't even got my. I have some things to follow up on. They haven't sent me my package yet.
There you go.
I was like, so we were out last night. Not late, but my sleep schedule's all fucked up. Anyway, so the last thing I did, filed my last time sheet, went in and put, I have a distribution group for everybody in my product line, put all of those. So I was like, all EHR. And then I'm like, cut, paste into the body, send to me, because I'm like, I'm going to forget and now I have to go stalk all these people on LinkedIn and get references.
Yeah.
So I think you have to get like physical references for jobs, but I also think that most companies now like want access to like LinkedIn. You can share references people have written for you.
My thing is, okay, so references to me are the biggest piece of bullshit ever. Nobody is going to give you the name of somebody as a reference who is going to say anything bad about them.
Right.
So like when they ask for references, I'm like, I don't like, if they provide references, then I'd be like, okay, cool. I don't need to call them. Now, if you can't provide a reference, then okay, I can see a problem with that.
Right.
But like, I don't see the point in calling anybody. There was a very short period of time before I left my previous job where I was in charge of hiring. Not that I should have been, but like all of a sudden I was in charge of doing this thing and they gave me access to a lot of shit I should not have had access to. And I had to hire people, and part of the whole hiring process and the interview process is that I had to fill out forms with like interviews from like at least 2 of 3 references.
Did you even, okay, so at least when I took my associates is in medical office management, which means that I did take management classes. Mm-hmm. If you ask me to manage people, I will guarantee. I almost quit this job.
Yeah.
Last year, I almost quit. Last year, 2 years. Yeah. Last year I almost quit. Because they were changing my job description to be I would have to hire and manage my own. There's the folks who make stories for products are usually called business analysts. I would have to hire and manage my own BAs. And I was like, I was in tears. I'm not going to do this. However, what I'm getting to here is I don't know if you took management courses as part of any of your degrees, because there's certain things that legally you can only legally ask certain things.
Yeah. No.
At least I know that.
Nope.
I don't ask anybody anything personal. Let them volunteer, but you can't ask them about anything. You can't ask about kids. partners.
Yeah. I will
nothing.
say, because I had forms I had to fill out, I literally only asked the questions on the form.
Oh, that's good.
So yeah, I had a form that was like, you have to call a reference and ask them these questions and get answers. And so
tell me a
that
time
is what I did.
when you
And I'm like, all right, yes, the answer is positive. Always the answer is positive. Yes, you should hire this person. Yes, they were fantastic. Yes, they were like to me, it's just so ridiculous because I'm like, nobody's ever going to give you a reference that's like, well, they were okay at their job. I probably wouldn't work with them again.
So when I was a medical assistant, one of the nicest things that ever happened. So I left my first medical assistant job. So I got the degree in medical office management, but you also get a diploma as a medical assistant, and then you can go and I did my certification.
Yeah.
So I was a CMA, not NA. Didn't wipe butts. That was much later in my career. So I worked for this one office, and then they did give really good references to the office that I ended up going to. Mm-hmm. And it was very nice, especially considering the manager of the office that I left and I did not get along.
Yeah.
Like oil and water. We clashed constantly, but my doctor was happy with me. So that's all that really matters.
Right.
So I get hired to this other job and I work in Panama City for 2 years. And then I come back to Ohio and I had arranged like interviews. And apparently the woman who was interviewing me at this job that I ended up taking had put in a call to my old manager. And in the middle of the interview, she says, I'm going to have you talk to this doctor that you would be working with. You guys will have a conversation, but I have a phone call I have to take this phone call. She comes back in and she said, well, that was your previous manager. And I'm going to go ahead and take her recommendation because she literally said you would be stupid not to hire her. And I was like, oh, also, I'm sorry she called you stupid. I'm like, welcome to the South.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, that was very nice. And then, I mean, I hate when they're like personal and professional. Like, I'm going to have to use you as a personal reference.
That's fine.
Because the majority of my friends actually came from work. And I'm like, well, which not bridge do you want to burn? But
right.
which one do you want to throw them in? We're friends or we're colleagues?
Like which place do you designate these people?
Yeah. Yeah. So, so last day of work, got all my shit together, left. They did a virtual happy hour for me on Thursday, which was just sad. What was sadder is in Achievers, we have this program, Achievers, where you can give recognitions and you get recognition points. Got myself a $25 CVS gift card with my points. And people went in and like signed a card to say goodbye to me. And I went ahead and saved that on PDF. That was sad because people were like, I remember when we started working together and blah, blah, blah. And also, there are people that started there after me that I swear to God, we worked together the entire time I was there.
No.
But also, I didn't have day-to-day contact with those people until I took over as a product manager. So I would have never talked to the director of development while I was in support. That would have been weird. I said my goodbyes, and one of my old managers had offered me a job, and I looked at it and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to take the severance. I'm going to take a break and get some training. I've been working since I was 16.
Yeah.
I'm done. Like if we could afford it, if honey were making $250,000 a year, I would never go back.
Yeah.
I'd be like, we're just going to fucking do what we do.
Yep.
So, but I'm going to enjoy the house, and they've got our deck almost done.
I'm excited for you. I feel like it's going to be a nice little...
they're just now finishing. So we originally were going to have this very small deck, and then my husband's father used to be a contractor. And when my husband told him he was like, the deck is going to be 8 by 10. And my father-in-law said, your deck is supposed to be at least the same size as your living room.
Oh.
Or bigger. And our living room is 16 by 20.
I think my deck right now is about 6 by 3.
I think our deck is 16 by 24. It's huge.
It looked big, but it looked nice. Like it's gonna be nice.
Yeah, we got the shed in the backyard now. So much less for him to
mow.
Yeah, he was like, "Can you call the poop scoop people and ask if we can get a discount because we literally just took away a third of the yard with the deck." And I was like, "One of the dogs shits on the deck. I'm gonna be so pissed off." I'm sure they will, but then you got to wash it down or something, and then underneath your deck is going to smell like shit forever. But
plants.
Yeah.
Like fertilizer,
I'm
right?
excited. I'm going to go to Costco and buy furniture. And the guy across the street was like, I would like to make Mindy a bench and a table to go with it. And I'm like, do you think it's enough that you're just building the deck? I mean, he's not doing it for free.
Right. But
and also he's 76 years old. Like, dude. But yeah, I'm just going to enjoy it. Enjoy the dogs.
Yeah.
Enjoy the house. I've got try and get on schedule. My psychiatrist is like, you can't just sit around because you're going to fuck up your meds and you're going to be messed if you don't do something. And I was like, I have these things. I bought 2 books from Habit Nest. One is for, I don't know, building your ass.
yeah.
So one is for yoga. Brandi can attest to the fact that I have 0 ass. Oh, your partner's always like, look at Brandy's ass. And I was like, weird, man. Weird. I was like, guarantee you my husband has never been like, look at her ass.
It's probably because it's the only part of my body that gets any kind of a workout, because I feel like I'm just constantly doing squats and things, but not because I'm purposely doing squats. It's just because running up and down stairs and like in just my normal life. I drop shit all the time. It's just,
Yeah, no. So I feel like most of the exercise I get is just trying to find my shit. Like I have 2 pairs of glasses now because I can only ever find 1 pair. And then because they're those pair I wear, I bought them in clear. You're smart. You brought yours in black. I bought mine in clear. And when you don't have your glasses on, finding clear glasses
is very hard, I would imagine.
Stupid.
Oh,
So
I left
stupid.
the house this morning and forgot to put my glasses on. Didn't realize it until I was in the car. And I was like, I'm just going to the grocery store. It'll be fine. And then I was gone for 2 hours and I got back and I sat down on the couch and we were chatting and because, he's sitting there watching TV and I was like, I'm going to have 2 cheese sticks. And I sat down and watched whatever he was watching for 2 minutes and ate my cheese sticks. And I was like, I feel real weird, like just real fuzzy and just weird, like just disoriented because I haven't had my glasses on for 2 hours and I need to go put my glasses on.
See, my routine when I get here is to sit down, get all my shit arranged, and then take my glasses off.
Yeah. Get in your position and then take them off.
Yeah. At least I know where they are. So anyway, it's going to be exciting. I'm happy. I should go see my mom more often now that I don't have a job.
Well, hey, I've got about 15 billion projects here. So if you ever want something to do, I've got.
Sweet. I'm not doing your diamond painting for you.
No, not the hobbies I like. I mean, like I have a table to build. Although last weekend I did install the casters on the bottom of my little poof thing over there.
Nice.
So, yeah. So I got those installed. So that's good.
Good.
Yeah. So now it can wheel around instead of being a stationary position when I'm sitting in front of the vanity.
I think we covered this at Christmas, or maybe we hadn't done presents yet. I bought Brandi a project.
Yes, she did. And I'm excited about it. But I need to wait until I clean off all the spaces.
And then
so
I sent her 42 vines. Oh my God, I miss Vine. Anyway, then I sent her 42 TikToks from this one woman who has a brilliant, she does these constantly, but she has a brilliant process as to how she does them.
Mm-hmm.
And she has cases and cases of, as she refers to them, unicorn sperm.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's one of those it's like diamond painting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm kind of excited about it because, I feel like that goes along with my Lego.
I feel like not only did I buy you a project, but I bought you something that your partner is going to eventually bitch about, because I feel like, number one, you can custom order these. It only took me 3 weeks to get it.
Yeah.
I was really worried about getting yours. And it turns out his portrait took way longer to get. I should have just went to the mall and had the people there do it. But so yeah, you can just custom order these things.
Yeah.
And then there are so many tools that you can buy to go with them. So you can have, so you've got the individual gem thing. I think yours came with some cheapy kind of tools to do it, but you can get them with pearl handles and they're 3 wide and 4 wide and 6 wide. So you can pick up your gems, and there are sorting trays that you can use so that when you pour the gems in, they've got they look like, I don't know, taco holders.
Yeah.
Taco shell holders, but they're really tiny so that your gems fall into a line.
Oh, and then you can use the bigger tools to pick up 6 at a time or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I'm not buying you washi tape and pen knives.
But as soon as, so here's the process right now. The dining room table is full of all of my hobbies. Cause I've got Legos on there and I've got, my Cricut stuff and whatever else. So as soon as I get this place all finally organized and I can move my Cricut stuff up here where it goes and put some of the other hobby stuff downstairs, the dining room table is going to be like still kind of my craft area, I'll be honest. But like we used to like put puzzles together and stuff on the dining room table and all this stuff. So I'll have like an open space that I can actually put it out and like sit down and have a good like solid work surface to work on.
Oh my God, I do have 20 jigsaw puzzles to put together too.
Puzzles are great. I love puzzles.
I bought 3 of these puzzles on Etsy and I love them. So like one of them is the entire, like every room depicts a different scene from Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Ooh.
And then one is Frankenstein. And then one is something else. I forget what it is. Oh no, one is H.H. Holmes. So the murder hotel kind of thing. They were hand drawn. They are the kind of puzzles that I like now, which is the pieces are very thick and they're matte. They're almost waxy on top.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
And so I really like those. Some of the cheaper ones you get, like White Mountain and stuff like that, when you take them out of the box, number one, they're like 1/3 still assembled.
Yeah.
So you have to break them all apart. And then they start to come up in layers. Like,
yeah.
God
the pieces like come apart.
Or the picture completely peels off of one piece. And I'm like, super. Here, I just might as well give it to the dog and let them eat it now.
Yeah.
Because almost every puzzle that I've done is missing a piece or two because the cat knocks it off and the dog eats it.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair.
But I bought these 3 so that I could save them and mount them in the office / spare bedroom.
Yeah.
And so I had my husband get a specific type of, I didn't have him get it. I was like, do you have a piece left that you can cut down to this 1/2 inch furniture grade plywood? It's very heavy. But I have the Bram Stoker one, and the H.H. Holmes one I had maybe 2/3 put together. I have a system for doing, so in my puzzle kit tools that I need for doing puzzles, I have a bunch of like dessert plates, like the little paper dessert plates.
Yeah.
Because the first thing that I do outside of get edge pieces is then I sit down with the box and I go through and look at the picture and start sorting everything out by where I think this piece goes.
Oh, like by the colors and things like that. Yeah,
so like I did one which was a bunch of food trucks. And so I sorted out, and then everything else you kind of figure out, like sky and shit like that. So I'm like, all the sky goes over here and all her puzzles are a little more difficult to do that with because they're very small details. But yeah, so I had it all completely sorted out. I had like 1/3 of it done. And then we had company coming to like stay or something like that. And I had to take the whole puzzle up. Yeah. And so I took it up in chunks as best as I could.
Yeah.
But then I just haven't had the heart to put it back together. Also with ADHD, I get hyper focused and I will spend 12 hours doing the puzzle and neglecting everything else in my life.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah. I mean, I
have puzzles.
I feel like I get like that when I'm playing video games and things.
Yeah.
That's like when I start doing something. Well, and I feel like I'm more like that at work than anything else. Because when I'm like, because I do video production stuff a lot, but also in between that, like I don't have a video I'm working on all the time. So in between that, I'm doing like, graphics and other things. And, so when I get a video to work on it, when I feel like I always procrastinate on the videos and I'm like, oh, I'll get this other thing done first and then I'll get to that. And I think it's because I know as soon as I start working on it, like I need a solid chunk of hours.
Right.
Because I'm going to start and I'm going to like get so into it that I'm not going to want to stop working. And this is why I like working from home, because when I do that and I'm at home, there's no like quitting time to go home. Right. I'm already in my seat and I can sit here and work until 7-8 o'clock at night if I need to, because I'm like so into what I'm doing and like getting everything done. And then I'll finally hit a point where I have to render stuff or whatever else. And it's going to take an hour. And then I do that. And then I'm like, what time is it? Oh shit. It's okay. Okay. It's 7:30. I should probably like go eat dinner or something. So, when I'm at work in the office, it's always like, okay, I'm going to work on this for like an hour. And then it's like, okay, well, no, like it's 5 o'clock. I should probably go home. If I do one more thing, I don't know, it might take me another hour. It's a whole thing.
Yeah. I used to hate when I first started working so my company was bought by a bigger company, which is who I ended up separating with. So my original company, I love that company. Like independent, small companies are kind of cool to work with, especially when they're making money.
Oh, yeah.
Because then you get all this cool shit to do. But also I was a little more dedicated. I didn't really ever burn out. I was just definitely done with that. When I was done with support, I was done with support. And then I wasn't going to work like that anymore. So I would go home I could take 63 calls on the help desk in a 7 out of 8 hours, whatever.
Man.
But the reason why I could take so many is that I would open the ticket, write down the ticket number on a Post-it note, write down the details of what we were talking about and what I helped them do and what the resolution was. And then I would start another call and put a Post-it note on top of that one. Sometimes the call was 3 Post-it notes deep, but I would stack my Post-it notes. So I would go home with like 2 inches of Post-it note.
Yeah.
And it used to be a stenographer's pad, but that got a little harder for me to deal with for some reason. God forbid these fucking Post-it notes fall apart. But I was blessed with a certain kind of memory that I only need so much information to reconstruct the entire conversation.
Right.
Or what the resolution was or the steps that we took. So a Post-it note or 2 was all I needed.
It was sufficient.
So I would work my 8 hour, so whatever, I'd be at work for 9 hours, drive 45 minutes home, grab something to eat, and then sit down for 2 hours, work on like the information going into my tickets.
Yeah.
And I used to get in like, yeah, you shouldn't do that. I was like, yeah, but it's either that or like, do you want the calls taken or do you want the calls documented? Like, which is the most important thing to do at the minute?
Right.
You should do it at the same time so the times are right. And I was like, yeah, you get to like in the ticket, you go and adjust when the time started and like, and so I know how long the call took.
Right.
So I'll just adjust the time or whatever. So yeah, I think I was working 50, 60 hours a week, but we had no overtime approved.
Right.
So I might get 5 hours of overtime out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was giving a lot of time to the company. I'm just not going to do that anymore. But working at home.
Yeah.
My schedule was so random.
Yeah.
I was on like meetings I was always in, but like I might start working at 5 o'clock in the morning and then like go to sleep for 2 hours and then get up and take a meeting and then work for another few hours and then go do something else and then come back and work from 6 to 10 or I don't know. Shit got done. Who cares?
I know. During COVID, it was like, it was my dream because working from home for me is just so amazing. I know that a lot of people have trouble focusing and everywhere else because they have other distractions. I don't have kids. I have like a cat that he wants me to piss off.
It's the only reason. I think everybody who has children that are at home has to go back into the office.
Yeah, and I get that.
I am so tired of hearing somebody screaming children. I'm like, can you at least shut your office door? I'm working at the kitchen table.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Especially with our company, when you agree to work from home, there are certain rules that you have to have. Like you have to be able to have a room that closes. And I'm like, there are some people sitting with their 3-year-olds on their laps having a phone call.
Yeah. And like, I get like there was times when you had to do that.
Yeah.
And like, I get not everybody has a home office, but like, I love my home office. I have worked extensively. Like I've worked so long on my home office and it's almost finally there. I have my little thing up. I'll have a 3rd monitor here soon.
For some reason, I thought you already had one.
I used to have 4 monitors.
Okay.
Well, I had 3 monitors and then I had 4 monitors. And then I didn't like the other 2 monitors because they were very old and not very good monitors.
You're all 4K.
And I couldn't. So I got rid of them because I was like, I can't do that. So
I can monitor snob.
I know. And so then I found a new monitor and it's sitting over there in a box and I'm waiting to put it up. But I have a second laptop that I'm going to hook that one up to so that I can have, and that one's not as good of a laptop. So this is my editing laptop. And then I have another laptop that I'm going to hook that monitor up to so that I have like just like generic things I can do. I know it's bad. I keep accumulating these things and I don't know, like I hand them off at some point where I'm like, okay, I don't need this anymore. Here, you can have this. But
oh my God. Speaking of hand-me-downs, you bought a brand new car.
I did. I bought my first car.
Yay! Let's explain this. You've driven.
I've driven many a car, but I am the baby of the family, and thus I have always benefited from an older sister and a mother who, my mom goes through cars like, who couldn't.
Is she a leaser?
No, but she was a real estate agent, so lots of miles put on cars, and very picky about cars because. Like the last,
to be able to get signs in them. And,
the last car I got, she bought because she really liked it. So she's had many cars. She had a car she really liked, got into a very, very bad car accident. It was when I was in college. Horribly tragic accident. The man that was with her ended up dying from the accident and everything. She was in the hospital. So the car she bought after that was this huge car. So by the time she got done with that car, she kind of hated how big it was, but also like she felt more secure in it.
Right.
You know, so she went downsized to a smaller car, but still it was a Buick. So it's not like the tiniest car you've ever had. But she was a real estate agent. She went to put her signs in there and she couldn't fit the signs in the trunk. And so she had to put them in the back seat. And so she lasted with it for, I don't know, a couple years. And she just couldn't stand it because, you know, you pulled signs out of the ground and they're dirty and she'd have to put them in the back seat and then she'd get dirt in the back seat and she just hated it. And so she wanted to trade it in. And at the time, the car that I had was a hand-me-down from my sister who wanted to get a new car. My sister's bought like a couple new cars now, which, I mean, she started working for a company when she graduated from college and she's been there for 20 years now. I don't know.
Yeah.
And makes good money, and so she can do that thing. And I was like, I'm going to work for my passion and not the money. So, so she was always like, hey, I'm going to buy a new car and trade in my car, but my car is better than your car. So how about I trade in your car and I give you my car? And then, you know, I buy my new car and I'm like, hey, great. Sounds great. So that's what I kept doing. And then my mom would go, hey, I'm going to trade in my car because I don't like it. So how about I give you my car because your car's shit and my car's better. So I'm like, yeah, hey, great. Sounds good. So we've done that a couple of times now. So that was the last car that I had. And the one that was too small for her real estate signs. I loved it. It was a Buick, but I loved it. It was smaller. And but it finally needed so much work on it. Then it was 10 years old. And I was like, the cost to fix the things that it needs done versus the cost that it's worth is not quite in line. So I was like, okay, I think it's probably time to buy a new car. And that just coincided about 6 days before I left on my cruise at the beginning of January. So there was a mad rush to buy a car. Although I feel like I still did it well. I went and test drove some cars a couple of different nights and I did research and I sat on the phone with my dad for a good 2-3 hours one night researching cars and things like that. Because I went and I really liked my Buick, but Buick doesn't make cars anymore. So
really?
Yeah, they don't make cars anymore.
Just SUVs?
Just SUVs. So I was like, all right. So I looked at their smallest SUV and I finally went to go test drive one. And I test drove it and I was like, I don't like this car. So,
I love SUVs. I'm so tired of having that dart. I don't like sitting on the ground.
Yeah. See,
bugged me.
I hate not sitting on the ground. And I test drove a few different little SUVs, the smallest SUVs, like Honda, like Buick. I went and test drove all of them. And my dad, when I called him and we did research for a good couple hours the one night, I was like, I think I just need a car because I can't do the SUV. He has a little SUV. He has a little Mazda SUV that I really liked. And I got to drive it a little bit when we went to Michigan over Christmas. And it just I like his, but also I couldn't drive it all the time. So we looked up cars and things and did research. And then I went and was looking at a couple of cars and I really decided after looking at all the specs and everything that I wanted a Mazda 3.
Yeah.
And you can't find one anywhere.
I think that's what my husband's mom has.
Yeah.
She likes hers.
You can't find it anywhere. And so for a couple of days, I was like, all right, I'm going to go test drive this one, whatever. And then I was at work one morning, 2 days after we did all the research. And I was just looking online again and I found one an hour and a half away on the BFE outside of Cincinnati. And so I was like, I called him immediately and it was like, hey, do you still have this car? Okay. And it was a 2021, only had 10,000 miles on it. They had used it as a corporate car for the dealership. And I was like, okay, great. So I drove down there that night with my dad and we test drove it. And then we went to 2 other dealerships to test drive other cars because there were still a couple cars on my list I wanted to test drive. And one dealership, when I got there, they were like, oh yeah, that car's actually not here yet. It's still in transit. And so then we drove to a whole nother dealership that was 10 miles up the road. Got there and they were like, oh, our internet's down, so I can let you test drive something, but we can't buy it. And I'm like, all right, just let me test drive it. Fill out all the paperwork. And then he goes, oh, actually, we don't have that car on the lot. And I was like, okay, cool. So my dad looked at me and he goes, so do you want to go back and buy the Mazda or are we going to go home and you want to test drive some other cars tomorrow? And I said, I want to buy the Mazda. I really liked it. I just want to go buy the damn car that I liked. And I picked out and I found and I did all the research.
Nice.
I did all the things. So we drove back down there and it was 9:00 at night. And
I was on the other end of this happening. I don't mean you were texting me. I mean that I was sitting beside your partner while this was happening and he was just like, she just doesn't think things through. And I'm like, I don't think that's necessarily true. I just think you guys have different ways of going about things.
I mean, if he had to buy a new car, it would take him 6 months.
Yeah.
Like I don't take 6 months
I don't
to
have
make
that
a
kind of
decision.
patience.
No, I don't either. I'm sorry.
When I make a decision, when I decide that I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Now, there are times that I make decisions and I'm like, I'm going to do this. And in the process of doing it, I'm like, well, this was a bad idea.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do this.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like get thousands of dollars in and then decide it's a bad idea.
Right.
I'm in the planning stages and I'm like, no, I should not do this.
Yeah.
Which, to my husband's credit, he's like, just let her burn herself out.
Yeah. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
She'll figure it out.
Yeah. I'm like, I feel like I've made some really terrible decisions in my life and I've made some really good decisions in my life. And I feel like there's, I feel like I can tell when I'm making the bad ones, like leading up to it, because there's always some hesitation.
But you'll dig your heels in and you're like, I am doing this. This is the thing that I am doing. I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
And then like 3 days later, you're like,
well, and here's the thing. When I was doing it, I was like, all right, I spent a good few hours. One, I've been doing nothing all week long except for looking up cars. Two, I've gone and test drove other cars. So it's not like it was the first car that I test drove and then I was like, I'm buying it. And so also I took my dad with me. And the thing that I think sold me on it eventually was, so we went and we test drove it. And afterwards, like he got out of the car and he was like, well, ask him how much it would be out the door and get the figures. I'm like, all right. So we did. And the guy who came, the financier, he was awful. I hated him. He was a total douche.
Yeah.
Like total douche the whole time. And he was like, oh, well, we sell so many cars. And I'm like, okay, whatever. And so dad was like, he was like not feeling it. And I'm like, all right. And I trust my dad's opinion on this stuff, especially because he just bought a brand new car like a year and a half ago.
yeah.
So I'm like, all right. So we went to the other dealerships. And so then when he looked at me and he was like, okay, so tomorrow you can either go and like, test those cars, or do you want to go back and get the Mazda? I was like, I want to go get the Mazda. Like I had a couple of hours to think about it after driving it.
Right.
And I drove a couple other cars and I'm like, for the price point and how new it is, I'm like, we test drove a brand new Kia that was stupid small. It was smaller than the car I wanted. They didn't have the model I wanted on the lot, but like even the base model of that one was the same price. It had manual seats. Like the car that I test drove had leather seats. It had electronic everything, heated seats. It had like a full preferred package on it. And the reason the price point was where it was is because it was already used by the dealership and had 10,000 miles on it. And I'm like, okay, I feel like we've done all the research. I've run all these numbers in my brain. This is what I can afford. And like, this is the best car I think I'm going to get for the price that I'm going to get. And knowing we researched the different kinds of cars, this is also the most horsepower I'm going to get in a car that I want to have, because I want a car that has a little bit more performance to it, because that's the kind of cars I like to drive. So, and then we got back there, and when we went to go buy the car, my dad, he was asking me financial questions and everything else, and we were talking. I was like, okay, well, it turned out I wasn't going to trade in my car there because CarMax told me they'd give me $3,000 for it and the dealership only gave me $900. So I'm like, all right, well, I've got $3,000 coming from CarMax that I can put down on the car as soon as I get that. I was like, but I don't have it with me because I still need to go sell my car.
Right.
And then I was like, I have another $3,000 in my bank account that I can put down on it right now. So my dad was like, all right, well, I'll write you a check for $3,000 so that we can put the full $6,000 down. He was like, and then when you get your money from CarMax, give me $2,000 back. So he gave me $1,000 for the car, which was super sweet of him. He did not need to do that, but I was like, okay. And on the way back, we were driving home and I didn't get to take the car with me because they had to touch up some paint or something. And I picked it up the next week. But I was like, I even asked him because I was like, I was pretty sure about my decision. But like, for some reason, when I'm with my dad, I always double question things because I consider him a very smart human being.
Yeah.
And very experienced. So I'm always like, I look to him for like guidance a little bit. And so I looked at him, I was like, so do you think that was a good deal and everything else? Like, and he was like, well, if you noticed, I brought my checkbook with me. And I was like, well, that is a good point. Very good point. So yes. Okay. So like, I feel like when I sent, because he's retired now and I sent him the car and everything else and online and I had him look at it before we went down to look at it. So I feel like he probably went on and looked at it and did the research and everything else too. And so he knew what we were looking at. And it was funny because when we test drove it, they didn't come with us. It was just me and him. And like we went back into this Plat and everything else. And like I did a tight corner in a like a cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, this has got a really good turning radius. And I was like, yeah, it does. Yeah, it does.
Something like that. I bought a Beretta years ago when they made Berettas. I bought a Beretta, but we went to test drive it. And my dad takes me. He was like, go here. The salesperson didn't come with us. I also think my dad like knew people at the dealership because it's a small town. So everybody knows everybody. They know where I live. So he was like,
That's fair.
turn here, go there. Da, da, da. So we end up on this back road, but it's straight. And he was like, see what it's got. So I got it like 90, 95. And he was like, there you go. Now you've done it. You don't have to do it again. Let's go back and get the car.
Yeah. At that point, you like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, also, he was just like, it can do it. Don't do this on the highway.
Right. Yeah. You can
Not
get
like
there.
I paid attention when he said, but whatever.
I will say the only thing that I would warn people about is if you're ever going to go buy a car, which I was kind of in a situation where I didn't really have time to go to the bank beforehand and do financing and all that other shit. I financed through the dealership and they didn't have any deals. Like if they have like a 0% down and all that other stuff, sure, go for it. But like if you're just straight financing through the dealership, don't do it. Go to the bank first and see what they'll give you because at the end of the day, I asked them specifically if they dealt with my bank because I have a credit union and they were like, yeah, absolutely. We deal with 60 different banks. We get the best interest rate, da, 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 da. And interest rates are high right now. And I get that.
Right.
They got me an 8.9% interest rate on the loan. And I was like,
that's
okay,
not great.
No, that's not great. And so literally the next week I got an email from my bank because clearly things go through whatever things they do. And my bank sends me this marketing email that's like, oh, we've got car loans for like 6% or whatever. And I'm like, okay. So I went into my bank the next week and I said, hey, so I know it's early because I haven't even made a payment yet, but can I refinance my car loan with you guys and get a better interest rate? And absolutely. I knocked like 3 points off of my percentage rate.
Yeah.
I'm like at 5.5% or 5.6%.
Well, because they'd rather them have the money than somebody else have the money.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
I mean, percents, they're getting money,
right.
period.
So I had an 8.9 at 72 months. Now I have a 5.6 at like 60 months.
Nice.
So I knocked off a year and I knocked off like 3 percentage points.
Good.
Yeah. And so I refinanced my car with and then I didn't have to make a payment for another half a month. And
That's
I was
awesome.
like, okay, cool. Yeah. So
that chick that does the diamond paintings that I showed you. So her main job is that she helps people buy cars.
Oh, nice.
And so I've been learning stuff from her. So I'm ready. Like when I go in.
Yeah.
When Honey bought the Tesla, I didn't like how it goes because you just buy it. Like there's no, but there also aren't a lot of added fees with it.
Right.
So she like goes through deals that she has helped people go through. So the car will be on the lot and she's like $145 for transportation. And they're like, yeah, well, you have to pay for us to get it here. And she was like, it was already here. It was going to be here. We didn't ask you to bring it here.
Yeah. It was already on
here.
the lot. Yeah.
So we're going to need this taken off. And then I forget something in prep. And she was like, yeah, no. Mm-hmm. We're not paying for prep because that's, this, that, and the other. And she was like, one of the cars had like, they wanted her to pay. They wanted the person buying the car to pay for. So when cars are transported, they wrap them.
Yeah.
They wanted her to pay for the wrap.
The saran wrap?
Yeah. Like whatever it's almost like a latex. Yeah. Like
the wrap
what
shit they put on them.
Yeah. Like what's on your electronics kind of thing. I guess like it peels off when they get it there.
Oh my God.
So they were like, yeah, you're going to pay for this protection package. She was like, no, we are not. Like this car, when she was going through, like she had a picture of what the proposal was. And her advice was never be afraid to walk away. And she said, you might lose a car that you want, but it's better than getting screwed.
Yeah. Oh,
out
absolutely.
of something. And so like this one deal she was showing, she said they wanted, this car would have been $28,000 plus the way that they did the financing added more money to it. And so she went back and she ended up getting this car for them for $23,000 out the door. And then they went to do the paperwork for financing and it was like financing $2,700. And she's like, where did $4,000 come from? And it's like, well, this and the fact that we did this, this, and this to help you get the financing. And she was like, okay, well, we can leave now.
Yeah.
Just keep the car.
Yeah.
And I realized that they're not desperate for people to buy cars, but they still want to sell cars because you need to turn over inventory as fast as possible.
Oh, absolutely.
So yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm so ready.
That's good. You've done your research because honestly, I like the dealership I went to, like afterwards, I went and read some reviews and things like that. And they're like the worst.
Yeah.
The absolute worst. And my dad, his was a Mazda 2. And so after I got my car, I literally took it up to the place that he goes to. And I had him do an oil change and rotate the tires because I'm like, this has been a company car and who knows if they've actually taken care of it. And plus they had the fucking oil thing on manual and everything else. And so nothing was updated. It was like, you need an oil change at 8,000 miles. And I was already at 10,000 miles. And I'm like, okay. So I went up and I had him like do all the things and they checked it out and they were fantastic. They even send you like a 360 video of your car, like as they're checking it out and everything. Like,
oh, that's nice.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic. So they were lovely.
Things have changed so much.
Yeah, but the dealership that I bought it from, I was like, I feel like these people are like, because even my loan that when I refinanced it, like just with the interest rate, my loan went up probably. I think I had to finance it for like an extra $1,000 or something just from interest rates and everything else to like get it done. And I was like, this is just stupid.
Yeah,
but my payments are
bottles are so heavy. I thought there was more wine.
Oh yeah, no, they're that bottle's real heavy.
Here, you said you didn't try the reserve.
I have not. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I'm not. Obviously, I'm not buying a new car right now because.
Well, no, but like
technically, I get a paycheck.
That's good.
Every 2 weeks for 7 months.
Yeah.
So I'm happy about that. And it doesn't start for like another month, but I also get my bonus next week. So I also was allowed to have my bonus.
Nice.
Which I worked for last year. And it was very nice because the guy who ended up, so my boss retired.
Yeah.
So last year they offered voluntary retirement to anybody who was going to be 50 by January and had X amount of time and this, that, and the other. He exempted our entire team. Exempted the entire team, said that we could not take it. He took it.
Why would he do that?
Didn't tell us until December that he took it. I was so...
But why would he exempt your entire team?
So because apparently there were so many of us that would have qualified for it that it would have just decimated the entire team.
Gotcha.
And they wouldn't have been able to continue on. I was like, but we could have taken it, but also you could have set our dates in the future.
Right.
So we could have signed up for it and they could have said, well, but you can't part until July 2024 or whatever. They could have said when you could leave. But anyway, that doesn't matter. That's neither here nor there. But he did my review before I left and then he turned me over to somebody else to be managed. And the guy who was doing my review with me was like, this is not the score that I would have given you. This is not like something that would, because it affects my bonus. He said, you probably should have had another 0.5% on your bonus than this, whatever. It's a decent bonus. I mean,
but still,
I hate when they're like, you get a $9,300 bonus. And I'm like, I technically am going to get 4,000 of that, maybe 4,500. Whee! So
yeah, bonuses are a funny thing because like, I feel like because I never worked in the corporate world, really.
And it's not like bonuses are free, by the way.
No, they're not. They're absolutely not. I feel like I've gotten a couple of bonuses.
Fuck up your
at this new company
bracket sometimes.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but like the amount you pay like in taxes on bonuses are way substantially. Like, give me a pay raise, don't give me a bonus.
Oh, they used to tell us, but and most of us like figured this out, but they used to, the company that we got bigger bonuses with the previous company until they merged us in. And then because of COVID, we've been getting bigger bonuses because they're giving us X amount of % just for working during COVID.
Okay.
Which is funny because I have zero contact with human beings.
I mean,
sure, I'll take your 2%.
Sure. Great.
So, and the way our bonuses work is you get this thing and like by the time it's done, it might be like you can have 2.4% and it's 2.4% of your taxable income.
Yeah.
So, so it's a decent amount. But the other company would send out a message and be like, hey, bonuses pay out on this date. You need to go in and change your automatic,
like your direct deposits and stuff.
Not your direct deposits,
but like your 401k.
Your 401k. You need to change that to like the lowest amount or change it to 0 and then go back in the week after you get your bonus and put it back up.
Oh, they make us sign a form saying whether or not we wanted to go to their 401k.
No, we just would go into Fidelity and change it.
Oh, thank God they do that for us.
Yeah, well, that'd be nice. But I don't know how that's going to work because like I don't have to do any of that. Like I can't, I mean, I guess it's just not going to go into my 401k. But I also found out that my 401k loan, as long as I stay with Fidelity and because I'm getting my severance, they'll continue to take it out or Fidelity will contact me directly and tell me how to continue paying on this loan.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, which is nice because I owe like $10,000 more to them, but whatever. It's not like I have enough infidelity to retire on.
Right.
I think I have maybe a year's paycheck.
Yeah, I have a financial advisor. And so like last year when I left my last company and I had to roll over my 401k and everything and I had to do something with it, I got her and then I was like, here, you can do things, right? And she was like, yep, just give me all the monies. And I was like, here's all the monies, have all of it. Just do your thing. Do your thing, boo. And so then last year, my current company, my 401k, they went through some kind of a change and whatever else. And so they had to close our one 401k account and open a new one. Mm-hmm. So as we were doing it, you could either roll over your 401k into the new one, or I called her and I was like, hey, so we're in this thing where I roll this over here, or I think I can roll it over to you as long as it's like the non-taxed whatever, because it's not taxed money. And she was like, oh yeah, give it to me. And I was like, cool. She was like, I'll send you the paperwork. I'm like, fantastic. So she sent me the shit. I signed all the things. She just takes all the money and I'm like, here you go. So like my 401k right now has like, I don't know, very limited amounts of money in it. Like my 401k looks like I'm not retiring anytime soon, but I'm like, all the other money's like over there.
Yeah, right. I'm not
there.
joking
It's
when
safe.
I say that my husband is my retirement plan.
I mean, that's fair.
Because he's going to be working for, let's face it, if I have to work until I'm 62, he'll only be 50. He'll be my age by the time I'm ready to retire.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like
and he's been handling his money more responsibly.
I definitely don't handle my money as responsibly, but I also feel like I spend my money so that we enjoy it. And I spend my money on me and my partner now.
Yeah.
Like so that we can enjoy life now. And I would say that he's my retirement plan, but one, we're not married. So like, I'm not guaranteed that money. And two, he really likes to save money and he doesn't even think what he has in his retirement is able for him to retire at this point. And we have the same financial advisor and she does not give me details. But like, I definitely know he has substantially more money in his retirement than I do. So I'm kind of like, I mean, I need to still have my own retirement, which I'm on track for.
Right.
We just had our meeting. It's fine. I'm on track to retire at like 67 or whatever it's going to be by the time I retire. But like, I'm like, he's going to have way more money.
It's a good thing 67 today is much younger than 67 30 years ago.
Right? Because I'm like, yeah, so didn't this used to be 65? And I'm sure like there's still people that like retire in their 50s and everything else. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm going to retire when I'm like 80. I don't know. It's fine.
We had friends that the financial advisor came in, looked at like her stuff, looked at his stuff, and he had less financial events in his life than she had.
Yeah.
And so they looked at it and she was like, sweet, we're going to retire at like 60. And they were like, if you guys want to maintain the lifestyle that you have now, you guys could comfortably retire. She thinks she was like 53. They were like, you could comfortably retire in the next couple of years. And she was like, are you shitting me? I was like, yeah, keep in mind, this was because of him.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I was laughing. Yeah. So that's exactly going to be my life.
Yeah, that'd be nice. But no, I feel like I'm going to be working until I'm 80. It's fine.
Yeah, that's cool.
But you know what? I'm still going to keep spending my money until I'm 80 because by then I'm going to be like, I'm old. I'm going to sit my ass in a chair somewhere and not move.
Right. The Brandi has this stand that I stick my phone in. I don't think the stand was originally for me, but it is now.
I have so many things for like, I feel like I'm going to have like a techie sale at some point where I'm going to be like, here's all the microphones, speakers, keyboards, mice, like
just fill your backyard up one day and have like a big garage sale.
That's the plan. So right now I have 2 6-foot tables sitting in my basement.
Does Miamisburg have like a community garage sale day?
They do, but not until like August, I think. So my plan is like once it gets nice in May or June, I'm going to pick a weekend and I'm going to pop up those 2 6-foot tables in my basement like right now.
Yeah.
And start like as I'm going through crap, like taking it downstairs and putting it on the table and it's like garage sale crap.
Letting Dexter jump up on it.
Yeah. And then once summer hits, I'm going to have a big ass garage sale and I'm just going to take everything outside and be like, buy things. Everybody buy things.
Yeah.
I need to get rid of stuff.
I think they should let you do that. Like we have a storage unit.
Mm-hmm.
I think they should have like a community garage sale day at the storage unit and just like let people come in and.
Well, do they do the auction thing like when somebody leaves their storage unit where they can go in and buy it blind?
I think so. But then I would just end up with more people's shit.
That's true.
And I don't want to.
Yeah. I feel like it's that would be fun though. Just buy a unit and then go through it.
Yeah, if I had indiscriminate funds, and then I could be like, because a lot of those, like the people that you saw in the Storage Wars, those are all staged.
Yeah.
But the people who were on those, like the one guy that I hated, the guy, Dave, hated him, loved Barry. Sorry, I'll circle back to that. So the Yep guy had, and Brandi and whatever the guy's name is, who is going to be in the next story about Storage Wars. God, what the hell was his name? Anyway, bald-headed guy married to Brandi. He had like a secondhand store. So
not me, Brandi, by the way.
Not you, Brandi. Storage Wars, A&E. He had 2 like stores that so anything that he found, if it was like valuable, he would go and take it and like whatever, sell it off specifically to like, a baseball card thing or Pokemon cards or whatever.
Yeah.
So, but everything else just went in the secondhand store. So like he didn't even have to worry about going through it. And then like mattresses he'd have to toss and stuff like that. But anything else he'd just stick in the store and it sold or it didn't sell.
Right.
One or the other. So, and then Brandi and Jared had the same thing. But Barry one time bought a unit that had a safe in it. And apparently safes aren't hard to open, like the personal safes. Apparently if you just pick them up and like normally lift them to from the back of your truck, drop them on the corner, one of the corners, it will pop open or whatever. Anyway, so Jared always dressed in like sneakers, socks pulled all the way up to his knees, long shorts, big white t-shirts. White dude. They're in California. And Barry gets the safe and he was like, I don't have anything to open this safe. He was like, but I do know people who are still here. He was like, I do know a safe cracker who thinks he's a cholo or dresses like a cholo or something like that. So he took it over and let Jared do it. And I was dying laughing because it was just some random. He was like, but I do know it. Oh no, that's what it was. He goes, I don't have anything to open this safe, but I do know a cracker who dresses like a cholo who can open it. It's your God. So he walked over and Jared just basically dropped it from a very high surface, I think. But yeah, I mean, all the shit that they found in those units, I think either they owned already and like hid it in the unit. And then they were like, ooh, look, thousands of dollars of toys.
Right.
It wasn't like a real find.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like in theory, like it sounds nice, but also like if you go and do that, then you're just cleaning out somebody else's shit, which I have a big enough problem cleaning out my own shit most of the time. I'm like, so like, I don't know why I'd want to go do that with somebody else's shit.
No, I mean, we just keep putting stuff in our storage unit. Although I will say our storage unit is, I can manage everything myself except for a couple pieces of furniture. Yeah. And the way that we have those in there, like those pieces of furniture down the center, we have a 10 by 10. We had a 5 by 10 and I was like, this is not going to work out. And then they just moved us like down to the other end of the aisle and I'm waiting. I want to call them and be like, hey, can I have the other 10 by 10 next to it? Because the more shit I can get out of the house, the happier I am. Yeah. So we have the furniture down the center of the 10 by 10. So I can so it's kind of E-shaped.
Gotcha.
M-shaped, whatever. So I can get to shit. And then a kayak stretched out, a 10 by 10, like a 10-foot kayak stretched out across the top. Yeah. Which if they ever come in there and find out how tall we have it stacked, I'm pretty sure they'll make us take it down. Because it is literally sitting on furniture, like just stretched across the top. And they've got like a metal like grid that you can't go above. You're also not allowed to hang shit from it. Yeah. And it's just right up against that. And I'm pretty sure it's pushing it up in one area, but they haven't called us yet.
I mean, I feel like the whole point of a storage unit is you can fill it as much as you want, right?
Yeah, I wish you could take it out to the ceiling, but I do know commercially you're not allowed to have anything within 18 inches of a drop ceiling or blah, 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 or something like that. I don't know.
Whatever.
We used to get in trouble all the time with the fire marshal when I worked at Radio Shack because I stacked shit too high on shelves.
I mean,
stop ordering so much shit. We were a Radio Shack in the middle of nowhere. If you don't know what a Radio Shack is, go look it up. That's how old I am.
I mean, I feel like these days kids probably know just because, like, if they watch Captain Marvel, they put it in there.
Well, like on so where it was Wilmington Avenue, where 675 is now, where the Best Buy is, that was a Cub Foods. So there was Cub Foods and a couple other things in that shopping center, but it wasn't full. And then there was when you go across the street, so none of those fast food restaurants were in front of it. Oh. Nothing was around.
Okay.
Like Clio across the street, nothing was around. It was just these two shopping strips.
Yeah.
And then Bellbrook and Sugar Creek behind you. And so we, it was a appliance store. I dated a psycho dude from there. And then a couple of things in between, and then a Radio Shack and Walmart wasn't even there yet.
Oh, wow.
So it was a long time. Lowe's wasn't there. Aldi's, none of that. I don't even know if Aldi's existed. The little medical place, nothing. 2 shopping strips, middle of nowhere.
Oh, wow.
So that's why only one of us needed to work at any given time in that store.
Yeah.
And then I got a new manager and he insisted that we have somebody else there. Then he made me fire them.
Yeah.
Well, he was on his religious retreat being born again.
Oh, God. Did he at least go and do it right and like do the whole like Buddha temple thing or no?
I have no idea. No, I think it was
just
like
walk out in the middle
Christian.
of Arizona.
No, I'm pretty
just...
no, it was like Christian reborn kind of thing, like Jesus resaved, which made him a joy to work with. Because I was out boozing it up every weekend. Come in hungover. No, he went on this retreat and he called me and was like, "Hey, I need you to take whatever this guy's name is." He goes, "We're letting him go." And I'm like, this can't wait till next week, Todd. Yeah. Literally, my manager's name was Todd. Jeff was the cool manager, but this guy's name was Todd. And he was like, "Just take him into the office and tell him it's, thank you for the time that you've spent with us. Yeah. Your services are no longer needed. So this will be, you'll be paid for today, but you can go ahead and go." And he was like, "And if anything gets confrontational, just, walk out of the back room." And I'm like, "Go into public? That's what your recommendation is?"
Yeah, that's fine. Just
if he decides to like public. Fight me, get in public.
Yeah. Make sure there's other people around.
Oh, there was a Fashion Bug down the street.
Oh, I used to love Fashion Bug. I loved
Fashion Bug. Fashion Bug in New York and Company before it got like super.
I feel like those were like the original loyalty cards I had.
Yeah?
Yeah. Fashion Bug was like, we had a little, like, you had a little loyalty card thing.
Yeah.
You get coupons and all kinds of stuff.
There was a New York and Company across from the Kroger now in Dorothy Lane. And they got almost all of the clearance from all of the other New York and Companies before it went to Value City. Because I wasn't picking through shit at Value City.
Yeah.
Value City, for anybody here, is like a local version of TJ Maxx and Marshalls before TJ Maxx and Marshalls had existed. And it was huge. It was way bigger than a TJ Marshalls.
Oh, yeah. Our Value City was like massive. Like it's the size of like a Meijer or a Walmart.
To tell you how big it is, there's an entire STEM school in that location. Like the only STEM school in Montgomery County. And I think that Services Greene County too is that location.
Nice.
It was huge.
Yeah. Our Value City was massive.
Hated it.
Yeah.
You had to dig.
I feel like,
digging. I don't like touching every piece of clothing to find my size.
So ours wasn't that bad. So our Value City was more like a Kmart or a Walmart or something like that.
Oh, I forget. We didn't grow up in the same place.
Yeah.
Ours was on Woodman Drive where the STEM.
Yeah. See, you live in a bigger city. So in my town, there was like 20,000 people tops, I think, population. And we were in the middle of a cornfield. So, not much around. Like to go to like the stores and the shopping malls, you had to drive like 20, 30 minutes to go to Canton. So we had, there was a little strip mall that had a grocery store in it that was not a brand grocery store. I forget what it was called.
It's like IGA, Super Value.
It was an IGA. It was an IGA. And Fashion Bug was in that plaza and like the little donut shop and the Chinese place had the best Chinese food. There used to be a Woolworth in that little shopping plaza.
Oh, if you want a good Chinese buffet, you have to go here in Dayton, you have to go to Airway.
Yeah.
Near the base. That's the best Chinese buffet.
Yeah. My dad lives up that direction and we go there all the time. Yeah. It's the best. And then across the street from the shopping plaza was Value City. So, and like catty corner to it. So like you had.
Oh, I'm so glad you say catty corner.
Oh yeah, catty corner.
Doesn't it throw you off when people are like kitty corner? And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I don't know what what is kitty corner there? Catty. I don't know. It's always been catty corner.
I think kitty corner is anything but Ohio.
Okay. So catty corner was a Payless shoe store. So you had Fashion Bug, Value City, and then a Payless shoe store. With the dollar store next to the Payless in their own little strip mall.
Payless BOGOs. Shoes that hurt, but you could like buy 2 pair for $20.
You could. Well, hell, you could get them I used to go in and get, because they had the little yellow tickets that would have $5, $6, and $7 shoes.
Yeah.
God, I love those things.
Now, right before they shut down, I was really into like their dress shoes because they had like so much foam in them. But I have a hard time like with dress shoes because the backs come up too high.
Yeah.
And they like dig into my Achilles.
Yeah.
I don't like it, but these weren't like that. They were pretty low at the back. And I'm like, get them a size too big.
Yeah.
And then stuff another gel pad in
like in the front. Yeah.
So happy.
Oh yeah.
So before we go, you should tell us about your vacation because this one went considerably better than last year, which
did.
was sad for me because I was on Twitter like,
Yeah.
who wants to know?
All right. So this year the vacation went okay. Besides the whole car debacle that happened like right before we left, and the whole week I was like, oh, like the Sunday beforehand, I was like, I've got all day to pack, and it was it was the weekend of New Year's, so I had Sunday and Monday off of work. So I was like, oh, I've got Sunday and Monday to pack and everything so that next Saturday I can leave on my cruise, no problem, right? And I'm like, no, I didn't pack on Sunday. And then Monday I was like, I started looking at things and doing laundry. And then I had to take my car in on Monday evening. And then that's when I found out Tuesday morning because I was like, oh, Wednesday night I've got nothing going on. Thursday night I got nothing going on. I can pack. I've got plenty of time. And then, the car thing happened. And Tuesday morning I found out I needed a new car. So I was like, oh, well, then I started doing car things and I still hadn't packed Saturday morning and we were leaving Saturday afternoon. So Saturday morning.
You have to run your car to CarMax on Saturday.
I did. So Saturday morning I ran my car to CarMax and my partner had to follow me so that he could take me around because I had no car. Sold my car. Got home, had to finish packing. My mom came to pick me up and we had to drive down to Cincinnati to the airport.
Kudos to you for being responsible enough not to take that money and be like, vacation.
Oh, well, it takes 10 days to clear.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. That's why.
Yeah. So I was like, and I had saved up a little bit of money for the vacation because I knew it was the cruise. And so I was like, all right, I've got this much money that I can spend on the cruise. It's fine. And we didn't do the drink package this time, but we did prepaid gratuities and all the other stuff. So I was like, all right. So we got on the cruise and
so you don't have to be like slipping $3 here and $2 there to everybody who's done anything for you.
Right. So, but it was good. The cruise was good. I will say it was a much older ship and the smallest boat I've ever been on.
Yeah.
We found out, I think it was Royal Caribbean's oldest ship they had. My mom was not impressed. But then again, this time when I was talking to my mom on the cruise, I was like, well, it's a little bit better than last year. And she was like, well, what was wrong with last year? And I was like, I'm sorry, what?
Were we on the same?
Yeah. Has no memory of anything. She was like, oh, I thought last year's cruise was great. And I was like, what are we?
Do you remember getting a car at a sketchy place and going to a cockroach laden, no air conditioning heaven?
I feel like she blocks all that out because that was pre-cruise. So she only remembers what was on the boat.
That's why your mom likes me. She blocked out all the bad shit.
She has this she has this ability to just block out all the bad shit and just remember the good things. And I'm like, okay. So because we get on the cruise and I paid for it. So the one thing I paid for this trip that was extra is I paid for the VIP thing. So when we got on the cruise ship, we were supposed to have a VIP lunch. That we were supposed to get the Chops Grill or Steakhouse or whatever. So we were supposed to get a fancy lunch.
Get their what?
Chops Grill. It's the name
Chops
of their
Grill. I thought you said chopped squirrel.
Chopped squirrel. We're eating squirrel for lunch. So you're supposed to get their normally you have to pay. It's an a la carte restaurant. So we got to have their lunch for lunch when we got on the ship. And we get our luggage early and all this other stuff. And you get to book your seats first for the shows and Okay, literally nothing else in the VIP thing mattered because they didn't do pre-bookings for the shows. I don't think there were enough people on the boat. They didn't the disembarkment stuff. We got priority it didn't matter because everything we docked at, we were at the dock. So it's not like there were boats to get off. So literally nothing else mattered except for this lunch when you got on the ship.
I would have been pissed.
Yeah. So I was a little okay, whatever. So we get to the airport though.
You should have Karen'd it in a very polite way.
I mean,
I would like to speak to the management.
We did get reambused for our
it would be cheaper
shuttles.
for me to pay for this meal than it was for me to prepay for this package.
Right. Yeah, it would have been. But and I got Wi-Fi with it and stuff like that, which I had Wi-Fi the whole time. So that's fine. Which it was intermittent, but whatever. We were on a cruise.
That's almost as bad as you get unlimited access to the thermal spa.
Right.
By the way, we don't have a thermal spa.
So we get into the airport, right? And when we land, we go down to baggage claim, we get our bags, and there's a Royal Caribbean kiosk, and my mom had prepaid for shuttles. She bought the shuttles. And so we get to the kiosk, there's nobody there. Takes a half hour for somebody to show up at the kiosk, and she goes, oh yeah, we're just waiting for the rest of the people to come in that need to go. There's only one shuttle that goes from the airport in Fort Lauderdale to Miami because we were leaving out of the port of Miami, but because of last year, I refused to fly into Miami, so we flew into Fort Lauderdale. It's only a 40-minute trip.
Right.
And I'm like, okay. So she's like, there's only one shuttle. And my mom goes, okay, well, what time are we leaving? She goes, oh, well, we have to wait for the rest of the people to come in. She goes, well, what time are they flying in? Thinking that they would have a schedule of people. Nope. She has no clue.
Oh,
no clue.
We're just going to wait until nobody else shows up.
Yeah. She had a list of names, but had no idea when they were flying in. So you're just waiting for like the last person on the list to check in. And I'm like, what if they don't fly in till 2:00? Our check-in time on the ship was between noon and 12:30, and our lunch ends at 1:30. And I'm like, we're like, we paid extra for this fucking steak lunch, whatever. Okay. So me and her are sitting there and like, we're looking at each other, and I just start looking on my phone, and I'm like, Lyft, Uber. I was like, oh, I can get a Lyft for $40 from here to the Port of Miami.
Yes.
I was like, yeah.
$1 a mile.
Yeah. I was like, our freaking shuttle, she paid like $59 each way for us.
Okay.
So
Sorry,
I was
have
like,
to switch. That's very heavy.
no, you're fine. Do you want
I don't know why I'm
glass?
apologizing.
I have another glass over there.
That's
Do you
fine.
want
I'm
some?
drinking out of the bottle. We've already established that this is fine with me.
So yeah, I'm like, oh my God. Okay. So we get a Lyft and we get there. And so when we got on the cruise ship, she like settled it with them. They reimbursed her. Right. And then, so we get a lunch. And
You
lunch,
should have sent her after your VIP package.
I mean, the thing is the lunch thing.
I feel like if I pay money for something that I
Yeah.
don't get, I'm going to call Kim and be like, can you get me my money back?
Oh no. And she would totally do it. She totally would.
And they'd
she's that
apologize.
person. I mean, last year when we were in the Miami airport and she was yelling at the ladies about my luggage after I had it, I told her, I literally was like, stop being a Karen. We need to go.
Oh yeah, if you guys don't know about this, go listen to. There were 2 parts to how bad Brandi's vacation was last year. One of which is
Yeah.
a great story about somebody just walking off with her bag.
Yeah. Oh no, not only walking off with it, security gave it to them. And then I happily found it while they were walking back by me. And I was just like, landed my hands on it. Was like, this is mine. Please give it back.
I will kill you.
But yeah, so we get there and lunch, like you can order. And the thing is they don't tell you beforehand. Is like, apparently the way that those restaurants work is you get like one appetizer, one side and whatever. But they didn't tell us that at lunch. And even while we were ordering, they didn't tell us. And on the menu, it says that the sides are shareable. We got put at a table with another woman and her daughter that were there on a business trip. Like their work had like paid for like 5 of them to go on a cruise together, which is fantastic. But so
where does she work at?
I know, right? They were in Chicago somewhere. Yeah. So we order like, you can order like a appetizer, which is like salad or soup or whatever else. And then you get your entree. So like we each ordered a steak, and then you can order a side with it. And the sides all said shareable on it. So I think I got like asparagus and mom got like, I don't know, something else. And then you can order a dessert. Well, the women that were across from us that had mom and child, there were only like 3 sides. There was like mashed potatoes, asparagus, and mac and cheese. And each of them were like, oh, we'd like to try all 3 of those. So the mom was like, well, I'll just order all 3 and you don't order a side, and then we'll just split them all. And she's like, okay, cool. Because they didn't tell us you could only order 1. And they didn't charge us anymore for it, I don't think. But so the mom orders the 3 sides, and they both ordered their steak or whatever. And then we each ordered dessert, whatever. And they come in, and it took us like 2 hours to get through lunch. Like the service, like, and they didn't put us in the Chop Steakhouse like restaurant. We were in the main dining hall. And I swear to God, there were maybe only like 15 people in their Tops. Giant ass dining room, 15 people. And it took forever to get every course. So when they bring out the main course and they bring out the sides, they brought out the 3 sides for them, and they brought out our sides. And I'm looking at them and I'm like, I have 3 stalks of asparagus. 3. And that is a shareable side, apparently. And so like this woman, she got 3 stalks of asparagus. She got an ice cream scoop of potatoes and an ice cream scoop of mac and cheese. And that were their shareable sides that they were supposed to be splitting between the 2 of them, which between the 2 of them, okay, like, you know, they each get a mac and cheese or potatoes, and, you know, somebody gets 2 and somebody gets 1 asparagus stock. But like, I was like, okay, you can't put on your menu that these are shareable sides and then give me 3 stalks of asparagus. Like, that's not what this is. And actually I ordered asparagus and mac and cheese, and they only brought my asparagus. They did not bring my mac and cheese. And I was just like, oh my God, this cruise is just going to go like the last one. It's just like, it's just already, well, like I already had to get a lift, and we already, the rest of the time it was fine. It was fine.
Good.
Yeah. Like there was nothing spectacular about it. But like the one show, the one night, like we sat in it for a good 20 minutes. Then we were like, Mary, let's go somewhere else. But there just wasn't a lot of things going on because it was a smaller ship.
Yeah.
So they didn't have multiple shows or anything. Like they had the main show and the whole thing. But like the other ship that we were on last year, and I get why my mom was like, oh, I thought the cruise last year was better. It was because like they had the main show that was like a Broadway show or whatever else. And then they had like a comedian in the back, like later night, whatever. So this ship had comedians, but they were the main headliners on certain nights.
Oh.
So it was like you either got a Broadway show or you got a comedian. And that was it, like in the main theater.
Would know?
No.
No.
I mean, the comedian was pretty good though, that we saw. He was good. Yeah. So he was funny. But yeah, it was just very odd. Like the limited amount of things. And I don't know, the food was decent still. Although the food last year on the cruise ship was better. So like the very terrible cruise last year, like there was very highs and very lows. Whereas this year was just like, it was okay. The whole thing was okay. It was fine. There were no huge issues. There was no like, but it was also.
Didn't you guys go to Key West like at an odd time of day?
So we were in Key West and technically we were there from like 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. But like me and mom, like she's an early riser. And I want to say I'm not an early riser, but also if somebody else is awake in the room, I'm not going to sleep in.
Right.
So I woke up too. And so we got up and like we were off the ship.
Sorry, is there like a lot of heavy sighing from your mom waiting for you to wake up if you do sleep in?
I mean, well, it's funny because there was one morning I got up before her and like I went and walked around the ship and went and sat down on a deck chair or whatever. And she like almost called the authorities. She couldn't find me. Like she was very panicky. She like didn't know where I went. And I was like, next time I'll leave a note. I mean, there's not a lot of places I can go. She's like, I searched every deck. And I was like, did you search the 5th deck on the port side? And she was like, I didn't go on the 5th deck. That's the only deck I didn't go on. And I was like, okay, well, that's where like I was sitting on the lawn chairs reading a book. I don't know what to tell you. they have lounge chairs on a deck outside you can sit where you're not on the top deck in the blazing sun. You've got shade. It's like that's where I was hanging.
Nice.
So yeah. But yeah, so we got up and we went into Key West at like 9 a.m. and we were walking around and like there was a lot of things that were still closed, like the distilleries and stuff were still closed. They weren't open.
Yeah, it's 9 a.m.
Yeah, it's 9 a.m. But the thing is I was thinking Key West. I'm thinking like tropical beaches and things. It's not. It's like a marina. Yeah. Yacht club. And like there's.
Oh, the Keys aren't big.
No. And it's literally like a touristy town with a ton of those shops with T-shirts and, you know.
And like the Hog's Breath Inn in the middle.
Yeah. And so I was like, oh.
There's the Hemingway house. You didn't go see the Hemingway cats?
We didn't go see the Hemingway cats. We walked by the Hemingway distillery that was not open. And then I had a friend actually here who's a musician who told me to go to this one place called the Schooner Bar. And so I looked it up on my phone before we got off the ship.
And that's still there?
Yeah, it is. And I found it. And I was
know I was in Key West when I was 21.
And it was there?
Yes.
Nice. And I will say, so that was the only place that I was like, Pete told me to go to the Schooner Bar.
Oh, and you guys weren't there late enough to, so there is a schooner. There is a bar that the deck, if you sit at the exact right place at like a restaurant that's near there at the deck, you can watch the sunset. It sunsets over the Atlantic and the Gulf, like where the Atlantic and the Gulf meet. That's like its claim to fame.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. That's also where Key West is where we had the weirdest pickup line. Works. I will tell you guys this. You're going to be creepy when you do it anyway. My friend and I, 2 of us in Key West, we sit down at a table. There's 4 chairs. There's people standing off to one side of us. One of them turns around and says, "Are you guys using these chairs?" And we were like, "No." He sits down and goes, "So you guys are, it's just the 2 of you?" And I'm like, I wasn't smart enough or old enough to be like, what? Why are you trying to kidnap us? But like, that's the best way I've ever seen of like figuring out whether you have people with you or not.
Right.
He's like, "Are you using these chairs?" "No." "So you guys are alone?" Weird. Now
Okay.
it's weird.
Yeah.
But anyway, don't do that.
But yeah, so we went to the Schooner Bar and we found it. It was a cute little place, like off the beaten path kind of a thing, but there's cute little shops on the way. Most of them weren't open yet. We get there, we sit down.
You can buy 5 irregular t-shirts
Right?
for $5.
You could. There were all these shops that were like, "We're going out of business." And I was like, I bet you are every weekend.
Yeah.
Every time a cruise ship docks, you're going out of business. But yeah, so we went and we ordered, so I ordered conch fritters because that's something I always got, tropical islands and things like that. And I don't eat conch except for when we're traveling like overseas. And my mom got something else. And I will say my mom doesn't really like conch fritters. She likes fresh conch, like when it's like sauteed and stuff.
Yeah.
But she doesn't like conch fritters, the fried stuff. She loved them. Best conch fritters I've ever had. Their claim to fame is like key lime everything.
Yeah.
And they had this key lime mustard that you would dip them in, and it was amazing.
Nice.
So best thing ever. But when the waitress came and took our order, we ordered and she was like, you do know that it's still breakfast. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. If we can't order that, it's fine. And she goes, no, those are fried. We can make those. But like, and I was like, sorry, we just got up super early. Like, I don't know what to tell you. So I feel like Key West to me was just it was too much touristy.
Yeah.
Oh, which reminds me, I have a freaking poker chip somewhere for my dad because I stopped at the Harley store.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. But like, I get him a Harley chip. Like,
Oh, yeah. There's a Harley
chips.
store there, too.
Yeah. They have poker chips at the Harley store, like for each location they have.
That's like a big thing is for people to get the T-shirts from every Harley store.
So I don't do the T-shirts, but I get him poker chips from all the different places that I travel. So yeah. So I have a poker chip somewhere for him from Key West. Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah. So I was like, I feel like this would be a really rockin' town. Like at
Can
night.
you take your mom back there in June? Because that would be fucking hilarious.
Is that when the nudist colony is there?
No, June is so Key West is a big gay, like it's a big gay mecca.
Yeah.
For some. I mean, it's not like a fire island, but it's, like very it's a very openly accepting community. I don't know how it is now because of Ron, but Ron DeSantis and his bullshit.
I feel like their own little world down there.
But I mean, take your mom back at Pride. That's going to be hysterical.
The thing is,
I think Key West has, does Key West have the exotic erotic ball? Fantasy Fest or something like that.
Maybe. The problem is that she's not a big drinker. So I'm like, I feel like Key West is a bars and like shopping experience.
But it's not so I felt like when we were there, again, take this as you will, because I was very young. It's not like a let's get whiskeyed kind of drink. It's like, let's have tropical drinks.
Yeah. Everybody wants to have tropical drinks and like, but it's still like a drinking thing. And that's why I was like, I feel like if I was here like on a bachelor party or like a bachelorette party, because I wouldn't be on a bachelor party because
you don't know.
I'm a chick. Who knows? That's true. You never know.
Just because you're a girl doesn't mean you don't have guy friends that would rather you be there than.
That's true. But yeah, so I was like, I feel like this is very much like a girls trip, like drinking trip kind of a place rather than a like go and tropical island stop on the cruise ship kind of a place. So I don't know. I feel like she wouldn't like it during the. Neither one of us were that impressed. I was like, I don't feel a need to come back to Key West.
Not this coming summer, but next summer maybe let's all plan to drive. Not drive. Yeah. Never driving to Florida again.
But like fly to Miami and drive over. That'd be fine.
Yeah.
Although if we fly to Miami, I'm doing carry on only because fuck that shit.
No. Yeah. So so when we went down there, my friend's brother was having surgery, but also we were going to go down. I had just turned 21. She had turned 21 a few months before that.
Oh yeah. That seems like a fantastic place
I know what we were
21.
doing. We were delivering her 6-year-old nephew to her brother. And then he was going to have surgery, like major jaw surgery. So we were going to make sure that we could drive him to the hospital or whatnot. And her grandparents lived down there and we stayed in a travel trailer at her grandparents' lot. I don't fucking like lizards. They're goddamn everywhere.
Oh, I love the lizards.
Oh no. What kills me is that you don't see them until they dart somewhere. And then I'm like, fuck.
It's like corner of your eye. You constantly corner of your eye. There's things moving.
Creepy. And then like when you wake up in the morning, so her grandparents, we had to take showers inside and her grandparents have these like cedar walkways everywhere through their yard.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
guessing so that you avoid fire ants.
Yeah.
But they were like, make sure that you step heavy on them. I'm like, what do you mean? She was like, you have to be like thunk, thunk, thunk. Why? And she was like, so the lizards ahead of you will like get off the. I was like, I'm never fucking leaving this trailer. But we were staying in Tavernier Key. It starts with the T. And then we were going over to Isla Morada every night to get fucked up. And then we went down through the Keys one day and then we went to Key West for a day and an evening. And then that's the time that I drove back across 7 Mile Bridge with one eye.
Oh, I remember that story. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a good time. I would like to do it as an adult, maybe, Uber.
Yeah, that'd be good. I mean, I'm not opposed to going back to Key West.
I mean, we were very, we were definitely flirting up to people who were in the bars working, like the band, just so we could get free drinks.
But I feel like Key West is a place that I want to go visit with people that like want to drink with me and things. Because going with Ma, she's not a big drinker, and it's just not I feel like it's not her joint, which I felt really bad about because that was like her bucket list item. Like that's why we went there. That's why we picked the cruise we did.
Then I don't know why you guys didn't go to the buoy.
Well, we
get a picture with you are 90 miles away from Cuba.
Yeah, the whole like Southern Point thing. Like I brought that up to her and she was like, well, do you want to go? And I was like, I mean, I don't really feel the need because and the problem is I brought it up after we had already walked through town a couple of times and like got like all the shops and it was like, this is like touristy. Like, and the thing is, so we've talked a little bit about how like I used to go down to Grand Cayman. Yeah, a couple of times. And my mom went there a lot more than I did. And so she saw it go from being this like really nice like island where it was like island people everywhere and it got really touristy. And then they started building bypasses and, you know, now there's a Hard Rock downtown that didn't used to be there before. And the Hard Rock's in this place that used to be this really cute, like local island restaurant that had a thatch roof and like, and so she hates that whole like commercialization of it. Right. She loves being in that place where it's like the locals and the feel of it. And so when we got there and we were walking around, I feel like it was very much so just like that. Yeah. Commercialization and everything else. And she was like, this is kind of,
it's like being in fucking Panama City.
Yeah. So I was like, okay. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't think she felt it. I would go back if it was the right, like, you know, people and group and whatever that wanted to go and have like a fun time, like drinking tropical drinks and whatever and not be on the beach. And, you know, that'd be fun. But I think it was Key West was a little bit of a letdown. A little bit.
Yeah, it's sorry, I'm reading it.
You're fine.
Business thing. Not a my business thing because I don't have business anymore, but an us business thing. Hey, I'm probably going to be on social media a lot more because I have shit to do.
Yeah, Mindy's going to talk to everybody. And she's going to go back and listen to our things and tell me what to put together for a promo.
Yeah, I have time now. Catch up on all of your podcasts too, folks. No, I can see where she went from that because it wasn't that bad when I was there.
Yeah.
But you could definitely tell it was going there. But I think we had a drink in every bar that we could find on Key West.
Yeah. And that's not a thing that she's going to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean,
she'll have a pina colada and she's good for the day.
But I mean, we were sitting on that deck or whatever where the restaurant was. And then we went and sat down in the other place where we got hit on and there were like steel drums being played.
Yeah.
And that it was a nice atmosphere.
Yeah. And I would enjoy that. And I will say I was really happy that Pete told me about the Schooner Bar because like that was probably the highlight of our time in Key West. Like we sat down and we sat at a table that was like near the water. So like there were boats and everything else. And we each got a tropical drink, which we each tasted and then switched because we liked each other's drinks better. And then, you know, we had a couple little appetizers that were delightful and they were really good. And like the food was delicious and it was, so that was really nice. So I enjoyed that.
So, oh gosh, I was going to, this just popped into my head. So I used to so when we lived in Panama City Beach, we had a friend that played in bars down there.
Yeah.
And one night he leaves one gig and comes to this other gig that he plays like from 8 until close. So he's at one place from 5 to 7, then he comes here for 8 to close. And he goes and gets a chalkboard, like the chalkboard that's normally out in front of the restaurant.
Yeah.
He must have had a bad night at the other place. He drags it in. And by the tip jar, he writes the sign that says Sweet Home Alabama, $5. Anything by Jimmy Buffett, $10. And then something else, $20. He was like, I'm not fucking playing this song anymore unless you pay for them. Like you have to pay. And then that led me to think of being on a ship because you've done several cruises. And I feel like I would be the tackiest person on a cruise because any place that there was a DJ or touch tunes or something where I could pick the music, I'm going to be like, I want to order something with an umbrella in it. And I expect somebody play Jimmy Buffett's Boat Drinks, the ship sort of boat drinks.
I will say the only time I requested music on any kind of a ship was the last one we did last year.
Yeah.
There was a piano bar. Was not a piano bar in this one. Which again,
you mean like a piano bar where they play piano or a piano bar where like Hell with the Moon piano bar?
There was a piano bar where there was a guy that would sit at a piano and they had a bar around the piano. So you could like request songs and things like that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So last year, I don't know how much I spent at the piano bar, but this year mom was like, do you want to go see the piano? And like we went to go see the piano, and it was more like a classical piano in the middle of some kind of a bar that was not bars around
No,
the piano.
bitch, I expect you to, number one, we should be able to play Piano Man.
Yep.
All the things that you sing along to.
But it was also last year a piano bar where you would pay him money to sing the songs you wanted to sing. And that's what I did. So I'd throw a 5 up there and be like, play this song. And he would. And then I'd give him a 10 and be like, play this song. And he would. So like, that's, So I feel like a lot of my money last. Yeah.
I think I'm going to, I need to reserve a table. My husband's going to hate this, but we are going to Indie PopCon and Gen Con. They both happen in August, like first weekend of August, last weekend of August. And we got good hotel rooms for both of them. I'm so excited. More excited for the Indie PopCon one because I got like Homewood Suites, and I love to have a full fucking kitchen in my hotel.
Oh yeah.
We don't cook there, but there's nothing I hate more than a hotel that was like, you have a microwave and a refrigerator in your hotel room. Great. I don't have anything to put this styrofoam box food into and you can't microwave styrofoam. So I got the kitchenette, and then I forget what the hell the other one was, the reason that I wanted it. But we get our hotel rooms, but he's never been to a Howl at the Moon. Now, you being in Ohio State, did you ever go to the Howl at the Moon in Columbus?
Howl at the Moon, I think, was after me, but I think I've been there after I graduated. I came back
it was
and went there.
Before you, because I've gone there.
All right, wait.
Dueling piano.
Okay, so Howling at the Moon may not have been there then. That's might not would have been called. But after I went there, they made a dueling piano bar over next to the arena.
Okay, so when before you were out of junior high, there was Howl at the Moon was there. So I think it was one of the original ones in Ohio, and it was small. Yeah, it was very small. But if you guys have the opportunity to go to a dueling piano bar, call ahead, make sure it's what you think it is, because it is where I learned. So Howl at the Moon's, there was one in Cincinnati forever at Covington Landing. And so we used to go there like once a month.
Right.
And I love that place. My friends, not so much, but I was like, fuck you guys, go to the nightclub. I'm going to hang out down here and like sing along to Piano Man.
I'd much rather go to
There's
a dueling piano bar.
There's nothing better than like, they'll bring somebody up on stage, and if they're wearing like a coat or a jacket, they were like, you know the rules. And then everybody in the bar screams, jacket off, jacket off. Just stupid shit like that. They do Piano Man. It's where I learned how to do all of the hand things to Shel Silverstein's The Last Unicorn. You'll never see a unicorn. Anyway, fuck, there were so many things. But the one in Columbus, the guy went from a Beastie Boys song to this would have definitely been in the late 90s, late 90s, early 2000s because of the music. So he went from a Beastie Boys song to Sublime's What I Got.
Nice.
And then ended back at a Beastie Boys song. But like when we say dueling pianos, there's usually 4 pianists that will play at one of the busier ones. And like 2 of them will start playing a song, and for the other 2 to come in and start taking over, they'll start playing the song. Like they take the keyboard over while the other person's playing.
Oh,
so
wow.
The song is seamless. And then they do the jokey things. So like doing Joy to the World and bringing somebody up on stage and making them do the whole, like all the boys and girls. You guys aren't seeing me grab my crotch and my tits, but that's like, it's such a good time. I don't know that my husband is going to enjoy it, but I am reserving a table for us one of these weekends.
Nice.
Because it's so fun.
So the one I went to, it was a dueling piano bar, but they didn't have 4 pianists. They only had 2.
Yeah.
And so they got into a huge duel, and it was fantastic. It was so fun.
Did they do the thing where they make people will they'll pick 2 songs and they're like, if you want us to keep playing this song, you have to bring us more money?
Oh, well, kind of. But what they did was, it was like you would take up, like they had paper that you could like write a song request on, and you would put money with it, and you put it up on the piano. And they like each one of them would have like pieces of paper with money on top of it in front of their piano, and they would start playing. And they're like, okay, well, this is a $10 song. So they'd start playing it, right? And then the other guy would be like, well, I've got a $20 song. So then he'd take over and he'd start playing. And so like, if you wanted things to keep going, like you would just keep throwing money at them. Yeah. And it was like, we would get into a war with like 2 or 3 songs, and it was like, people would just start through. And so it would be it's
amazing because they stop and start at the exact same place that they left off. It's not like they start the song again.
No, they don't. They just start in the middle.
They'll be like, fins to the left, fins to the sweet home.
Oh, yeah.
fins to the right.
Yeah, it was fantastic. And they would just continue that all night long. And there were just two of them.
I'm sorry, you guys
would
have
go
had to
back
hear
and
me
forth.
sing way too much today.
No, it's fine. Yeah. So dueling piano bars are like my favorite thing ever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, here's a 10. Oh, wait, here's a 20. Yeah. Keep playing. I want you to hear the rest of my fucking song. Here's a 50.
So we were at one at Okaloosa Island, and I know Sweet Home Alabama was one of the songs, because when I came back from Florida, I was like, if I hear Sweet Home Alabama one more time, I will stab myself in the face. You cannot live in Panama City and not hear that goddamn song every day and every night that you go to a bar. And that's why Clay was like, it's going to cost money for me to play Sweet Home Alabama again this week. I'm not fucking doing it. But they were doing the same thing. So I think they were up to like $100 at one point, where somebody was like, I will pay $100 for you to play the whole song. And somebody runs up and goes, I will pay $150 for you to not do the song at all. You don't even have to do any song. Just don't do that song. And so that guy won. But I love those places. Those guys make so much money.
So much money in a night. Yeah. Especially once everybody starts drinking and they're like, oh, here's more money.
And what you don't consider is they don't have sheet music.
No, they don't. They play all of it by memory.
They know this song. They know the words. Although there are some times that we've been to places and they're like, they start the song and they're like, wait, do you remember the words? Wait, hang on. You start. I'll join in.
Yep. Yeah.
I love sing-along things. That's why I love that singo that they do at the bar.
Oh, yeah.
Now, not enough people sing there.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
But it is fun.
Yeah. Not on our darts night, because the other dart teams don't understand what's happening.
No, they don't.
And they're like, why are they only playing 30 seconds of music?
I would much rather take 30 seconds of music than the screaming.
Yeah. No shit. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. I don't know why they're like that. But anyway. So we are back. We are sorry. It's been a long break.
Yes.
We've had messy lives.
We have.
Things that you can look forward to is Brandi has more stories to tell from when she had a break.
I'm sure.
going to do stuff.
Yeah. We're going to check it out Mindy and see what she's doing on her off time.
Talk about that. I'll just drink. I'm going to drink for 8 months straight. That's what I'm going to do. See if I can destroy my liver. We're going to have Kat back so that Kat can give us an update.
Yes.
We have a couple of folks that have requested us doing, I guess, mashups kind of thing. So maybe we'll split a podcast, do half of it on theirs and half of it on ours.
Yeah, that works.
That's what the messages that I was reading just now.
That works for me.
We have guested on a couple of different shows. You guested on MCU's Bleeding Edge.
Yes, I was on the Bleeding Edge. It's on YouTube. I did a MCU looking forward to Guardians of the Galaxy 3 episode. So you can check me out on there. Go ahead on YouTube and you'll see my face.
Excellent. I guest hosted on Emo Dojo with John. We talked about making a business out of your passion. Actually, he came up with a great business idea for me. So maybe in the next 8 months, I'll do my own. I don't know. We were talking about it and I was like, yay. And my husband was like, can you afford real estate? I was like, probably not.
No.
I don't even know that I can afford rent where I want to be. But we have that. We did a year-end review with Arthur on the 2 Cents Critic.
Yes. Talked about all the TV shows.
So go look for us there. And if you want us to join you, let us know. I think this year we're going to try and do not just us.
Yeah.
That's my goal. But also we have to invite people into Brandi's house. So
which is getting there. I mean,
we'll just put a bag over their head, lead them upstairs and be like,
they can come into my office. It's fine.
So we enjoy it. Where do you find us, Brandi?
You can find us at DBBL Podcast on... Shit, I don't know my page.
We haven't done this in so long. We are dbblpodcast@gmail.com. We are any place else. Find
dbblpodcast.com. You can contact us on there. DBBL_podcast on Twitter and Instagram. And then Facebook and there's another one. TikTok, DBBL podcast. TikTok. There's like a space between.
They don't let us do anything fun on TikTok because it's a business, and I only have it as a business so we can have our link tree.
Just look up DBBL podcast. Yeah. You'll find us in all the places.
And it's going to be summer. Maybe I'll put out a couple of tank tops. Don't forget that it is going to be going into spring and summer, and we have insulated wine glasses and insulated mugs, so you can take us with you to the beach and drink.
We have merch.
Have a drink with us.
Yeah.
You can find that in our link tree or on our website.
Yep.
So thank you guys. We know it's been a long one, but it's been a very long time, and we appreciate your patience. And this would have been out yesterday had we had audio.
Yep. Sorry about that. That was my bad.
We did not even have the same conversation we had last time because we're that bored of us.
Yep.
So anyway, you guys have a good week, and you'll hear from us soon.
Cheers.
And then we went to a comedy show, and I got shit-faced, and we played darts, and it was a good night. So,
do you want to end it, or do you want to?
We should end it.
That's probably true. We're
Anyway.
a minute 50.
So,
Minute 50. We're now.
Oh my gosh.
Not a minute 50.
A minute 50? It's been a
Like,
minute
it's
50.
a minute 50.
There are
Nope, that's
people
an
that are
hour
going to
50.
listen to this and be like, what the fuck?
We had a
minute
long
50 my
break. You
ass.
get a long episode, okay?